Well lads, you all know the drill for Pokemon videos, so I'll spare you the time. Me and a goody old pals, Lazlo, are gonna race, and it's not gonna be a typical race, no. It's gonna be a Pokemon race to see who can beat the champion first, or in other words, get to the credits. Because the game we are playing is gonna be Black and White, a game which him and I haven't touched in years, so that'll be fun, right? Now let the gaslighting initiate. We start our journey, like all Pokemon journeys, with our Professor Jupiter the planet, and naming ourselves, in which I become Big Man. Next, we're introduced to my two supposed friends, Cherry and Bianca. We slowly pan to my house where me and my friends I've known forever get to choose our Pokemon. So which one will I choose? Well, let's look at our choices first. A Sableye, a Celio, and a Shieldon? That's right, baby. This is our twist already. I'm like a murder mystery. So surprise, we're doing a murder mystery. I mean a Pokemon randomizer, which this just means that every Pokemon we encounter is going to be swapped for an unknown one somewhere along the lines. But continuing on, I choose Celio, knowing what a tank it becomes when it becomes a Whalewin later on. And Lazlo, of course, chooses Regice. Let's establish some rules first. One of the rules we have is that we can only have one legendary on the team. Imagine this guy gets a Groudon, a Rayquaza, and a Regice on his team. How am I supposed to compete with that? So we thought, let's just make that simpler. Luck is already on this guy's side by offering him a Salamence and a Regice as starters, so the pressure's already on for me. So I quickly hurry on, skip through some text, and beat Cherry and Bianca, and then go talk to my mommy. And with that, our adventure officially begins. After I take 10 minutes to fix my controls. This happened because I'm using a plug-in Nintendo Switch controller, in comparison to the standard ones that most people use, or maybe it's just my game's funky. Either way, whenever I set anything to Y, it flips my screen, and fun fact, Y is typically supposed to be used to pull out your bike. So, fun new rule, no bikes. After that nonsense, I head to the lab and name my Celio, in which she gets named Blubber. I skipped catching anything in round 1 and just demolished everything I came across, because I only need the coolest, most badass Pokemon fit for Big Man. So as we enter the city, I'm pulled to the side by Jupiter, where she teaches me about Pokécenters and the magic that comes with them, like healing. Woo! When I leave the Pokécenter, I encounter Ghetto and his gang Plasma as they talk to me about some goofy nonsense that I mash through until I finally meet N. Do you know what N stands for? That's right. Natural Harmonia Gropius. What were y'all thinking? We move on to fight N and his Hariyama, or as I know him, as Beef, my tank from Pokemon Scarlet. But I can't refuse this fight. I can't get emotional, so regretfully, I have to put him down. So let's take a few seconds to remember the Pokemon y'all never even knew. Moving on to Route 2, catching nothing apparently either, we then arrive to our first big city where I have to do the thing I despise the most, go to school. And surprisingly, I learned nothing. So we beat Cherry, head on out, and now we're here to our first big hurdle. The gyms. A big man, being the boss he is, walks in with the confidence of a gorilla about to fight a grizzly bear. We approach Cilantro, or whichever dares to fight me. Turns out I'm fighting Grease, which I'm not scared. Although I'm sure he's going to send out some big heavy hitters right off the bat. So what's he about to send? A Magikarp? I only know Splash? And an Omastar? Wow, that was much more build-up than was needed. Anyways, I sweep them off their feet and move on to where I'm told to visit some mysterious gardens to get some aroma scents or something like that. I'm then given a free Pokemon because, you know, I'm awesome. That said Pokemon being a Ruffet, which I rightfully name America. Can you tell I'm patriotic? He then learns Cut. I defeat some gang members trying to capture a Muna and ram it? Either way, I sweep them, Ghetto pops up and leaves right away with them. After they leave, we then head to the grass in that area to see what we can catch. And wouldn't you know it, a Rayquaza pops up. And knowing how much of a beast this thing is, I have to catch it. So I spend a good bit of time until I finally get it in one of my Pokeballs, and we gladly add Larry to the team. Oh yeah, baby. Things are looking up. So we keep going on our journey and moving on through the routes as we usually do, until I finally reach my first loss to a Shedinja. Now if you don't know how a Shedinja works, let me explain. Shedinja is a neat Pokemon for the fact that it only has 1 HP regardless of its level. This should be easy, right? Wrong. See, it has the special ability where it only takes damage from things it's super effective against. And my Pokemon all being dead except for Blubber had no super effective moves against it. And utterly, I was wiped out for the fact that I had to wait there until all my PP was gone so I could die, because the thing was not as powerful as my Blubber. So we easily catch back up, hit him out with my America and Rayquaza, beat Cherry, and go into the cave. When we head into the cave, we beat Gang Plasma, as we typically do, and move on past the route. Next gym is going to be at the museum. But before then, we fight in, right before we enter. Do a little challenge where we read some books like Nerds, which Big Man is not having. We burst through the doors, take out Lemon. She comes out with some pretty normal types like Meowth and Lickitung, despite being a randomizer. Oh well. We quickly defeat them, as seeing as they're not much of a challenge, and we head on to the forest to fight Gang Plasma, where they both, me and Lazlo, simp over the Rangers.
The Pokemon Rangers are bad.
Pokemon Rangers are bad, I will say that also. What? Can you blame me? Oh, and did I forget to mention, every single one of them I encountered had a Palkia. Fun. So around the fourth one I met, I eventually lost, but what can you say? I'm going against 4 legendaries. It's pretty good that I made it through 3. So we catch back up, fight one more Palkia. Thank goodness it's finally over. Oh wait, I forgot. We're here to fight Team Plasma. Nah, just kidding. They only had Politoads, Gothittas, and a Lopunny, wink wink. So Blubber quickly froze them over, and we make like a pit pull approaching a small child to the next town. We cross the awesome bridge and see some cool shots that they had for it. In New York, I then meet Ghetto and Gang Plasma, where I mash through their dialogue just to head to the next gym. Pretty weird that they added that, but whoa well. Lazlo, not being the confident powerhouse like Big Man, loses his fight to Bunger, which gives me just the right time to catch up while I do his sticky puzzle. We approach Burger, the leader of the fast food industry, where he bugs us so much. So we just body slam his team to oblivion. Not much of a challenge if you ask me, and the total times I've now lied to Lazlo is more than I can count, about where I was, about my Pokemon's level, and about stuff I'm sure he'll see while he's editing. But right, back to the action. I beat both Bianca and Cherry as normal while headed through the desert, and I finally decide to catch a new Pokemon, which happened to be a Crocodile, who is rightfully named Sunglasses. We then move to the awesome city of Electricity, where I attempt to learn Bianca's backstory, which I wanted to know since Kid Me didn't, but fortunately, this is a race, so I got to learn none of it as I mashed through dialogue. So we got to move on to the first gym, but first we have to talk to M, where I make out with him intensely on a Ferris wheel. Sorry ladies, he's mine. Now, ignoring everything I just did, we head to the next best gym, Roller Coaster Central. Whee! So after enjoying my dopamine rush, I then fight Elsa, former Ice Princess, now Electric. It's a pretty basic gym fight with a Stunfisk, Sneasel, and Among Us! Holy shit, that's super funny! Oh my god, Among Us! I hate my life. Soon after, Elder shows up from X and Y to be a good guy or something in this game. I don't know, I didn't really pay attention that much. But either way, we continue on until we meet Gay, where both of us skip his dialogue and have no clue where we're supposed to go. So we look around for a while, and me being the absolute genius that I am, find some storage units covered in snow, and me, being that genius, no, this is exactly where I'm supposed to go. So I continue to repeatedly slam my face into the garage door, not realizing that there was a door to the side, and around 10 minutes later, I finally figure out that you can go into the door on this side. Very fun, right? We beat some Gang Plasma, do some fun ice puzzles, and shocker, they were stealing some Vanillites because they were hungry for ice cream, so I steal them and have a good couple scoops myself. We then head to fight Gay and his annoyingly slow elevators, where we beat him lickety-split like he was digging his own grave. Cause what is the loser gonna do with a Crustle, Nidorino, and a Goribus? Off to the fun electric cave with floating crystals where we fight Gang Plasma. Again! Well, I have to give them props this time, because they did beat me after the 7th fight because I had no PP, and they had a few good Articunos with them. But I catch up nonetheless, and they just aren't getting the message from their previous butt whoopings.
I then had a fight with him. Not for anything in particular. I just kept spamming the B button and saying no to him. So we called it off. because our differentiating thoughts on ideals and truths. Or maybe the fact that I fawned over a lot of women.
But that's besides the point. I catch a Togekiss afterwards to add some diversity to my team, even though I'm probably not going to use it, and name it Butt Cheek. And then we go up to ring some creepy bell, which Big Man blasts through without a wince of fear, and then fawn over Skylar White, yo. I know, I can't help it. Pokemon knew what they were doing when they designed these people. Now time to go beat her at her own gym. So we go zip zap zop through Skylar White's gym, and I win obviously. False. Big Man, being the Chad he was, had so much confidence he didn't go to the Poke Center in town to heal, so he had half the PP going in and ran out during the fight. So having to go through a whole town over, because that was the last Poke Center we saved back on, we eventually arrive, fight her again, and sweep her off her feet and flying into my arms. We proceed on to do some funky caves that spiral down and eventually escape to the next town, where we go to the Ice Gym. We slide into the DMs of Lice, where we give him the Big Man 1-2 combo and twerk on him a bit. Next up to some spooky ruins where we beat Gang Plasma and see Zekrom. Now that's a sight for good eyes. We dip after though, because we're just not vibing with them, and off to the desert again. We get to some fun ruins where I magically found the right path through some quicksands which I kept falling in because Big Man is impatient and charges forward consistently. But eventually we make it. Floss on Gang Plasma a bit and bounce after we do something. Then I attempt to cross a bridge, but I'm stopped, so I gotta fly back to the museum, because I read for once, and grab an old rock, fly right back, cross a bridge, and meet Ghetto, where he says some stuff, and holds a rally or something for it. But forgetting that, we head on to the next gym, the Dragon Gym, fight some ace trainers, whoa mama, and Drayden. These nuts on your face. We kick his booty cheeks and show him we are the bigger man, or as some might say, the big man, and continue heading to Victory Road. Knowing my team is very underlevel, I decide that this is a great time to catch an Electrobuzz and name him Sparky so I can have something to take hits on the final fight. After going through a bunch of gates, we finally arrive to the massive cave complex, or should I say, anthill. Game Freak, being the geniuses they are sometimes, decided to make a big ant Pokemon, so in turn, Victory Road is a giant anthill, which is just a cute detail that I love. Mwah. But it is a randomizer, so we won't see any of the ant or anteater Pokemon. Plus, I also used Repel, so I guess we'll never know what the Pokemon that showed up there was anyways. After like 30 minutes of running around, I finally find my way to the league. We go right to fight Marbles, where I learned Sheer Cold, which is an instant death, but only has a 30% chance to hit. It's a gamble I'm willing to take, since Big Man makes his own luck. Now on to Shantae, the spooky lady, which we sweep off. PP is looking a little low right now, but I think we can still pull it off. Moving on to not the fire, not the dragon, but the darkness, despite the appearance of the room where we fight Grimer from McDonald's, I guess. Bingo Bango Bongo, we beat him, and move on to Mama Cadbin, where we run out of Body Slam and oh my god, Among Us. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna make that joke again. Anyways, so I'm left with 5 Surfs and 1 Sheer Cold, so things aren't looking good for me if it comes down. I'll have to use Struggles and a whole bunch of max potions until we can't do it anymore. Suddenly, the cutscene at the castle arrives, and I take my first steps to fight in. But first, let's look back and reminisce on the things that pushed me to where I am now. Oh, I forgot we have to traverse the castle and avoid Team Plasma members, so we don't have to restart. I'm gonna have to be very careful on this. But thankfully, my pals, the gym leaders, will help me fight back and make it inside. Then I found out that they give you a restroom. Damn, way to ruin the climax, huh? Well, with that done and out of the way, it's looking like I'm gonna win this thing. I'm the one on top now. We move on to fight In, the champion, and Zekrom bursts through, and my relic starts moving, where Reshiram is reborn, and now I must catch him. So into battle, where he's actually an Onyx? So I catch Reshiram the Onyx, and we finally fight. After a tough and grueling fight of intense back and forth, I come out victorious over N. But that's not it yet. Baby Ghetto shits his pants, and after a whiny fit where he challenges us, we whip and nay all over him, and now, time to fly off into the sunset within. Roll the credits, baby, and let's compare times. And when you know it, I lost. Psych, I'm the winner, baby. Take that, Lazlo. Oh man, I'm absolutely on top. You can lick my nuts, though. I still love you, though, bro. And while we're at it, please go check out his side of the video. He takes a vastly different approach from me and was way more detailed than mine was. And who knows, maybe his will be more entertaining. His link will be in the description below. Go give him a like and subscribe. And while you're doing that, why don't you do it here also? Otherwise, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Later, fam squad.